Hi and welcome back with another video tutorial. In this video we will be looking at how we will be doing the UVs of our character. So in order to do the UVs, we will be doing it through our UV master, which shipped directly with the Zbrush by default. So let's do our UVs on a simple polygonal object. So let's go to this our cylinder Z2, and in order to just unwrap it, what I can do is make polymesh 3D so that right now it's a sculptable object. So we can just click on this unwrap button here, and you can see that our UVs are generated here. And right now they are really messy, and it has been automatically generated the UVs, and they're not so good. So what we can do is we can paint on edges and generate cut on different parts of the meshes. So what we can do right now is enable control painting, and in this way we will be able to tell Zbrush where to add the cuts and where to protect the edges. So there are three options here, which is protect, attract and erase. So all of these button does is lets us paint onto our model. For example, if we choose protect, you can see that it's painting red, which is telling Zbrush to protect this area and to not create our UV cuts on these edges. So what we can do right now is tell Zbrush, so we can just fill objects with the red color, telling this to protect all this area, and then we can switch to the attract button and paint on our edges where we want our UV seams. So right now you can see that I'm painting on the edges, and I'm telling Zbrush to make sure to add the UV seam on these edges. So if we unwrap it right now, you can see that Zbrush will try to respect our painting, and let's see. So now that we have flattened it up, you can see that it has it hasn't separated the one part from the another, but it respected your painting. So what I like to do is create polygroups and enable this polygroups option here, so that it separates those shells as well. So let's turn off the perspective, and Control Shift drag to make a selection, and press Control W to make a polygroup on the faces, and make a polygroup on the bottom faces as well. So you can see that we have three polygroups on our cylinder, and we have checked this polygroups option here. So if we unwrap it right now, you can see that it will generate three different UV shells, and they will unwrap perfectly. So you can see that these are our UVs right now. So instead of just painting on your model, you can just create polygroups and unwrap your model. And there is one more thing that we can do. If we want the UVs to be symmetrical, we can just check this symmetry button here and click on this unwrap button, and you will see that it will respect the symmetry. For example, if this was our line of symmetry, it has maintained the shell according to the symmetry. But you might be thinking that it hasn't placed the UVs on the center, but each and every shell is symmetrical right now. So for example, this shell is symmetrical along this middle axis, this middle edge. So symmetry is useful in some cases, and in some cases it's not useful. So let's see a complex example. For example, we have this character here, and I want to do UVs on this specific face mesh. So what I can do right now is right now it's 18 million polygons, so I would rather not unwrap it on the highest subdivision level. For example, if I click on this unwrap button here, it says that you cannot unwrap it on the maximum subdivision level. But if I click on this button, work on clone, it will create a duplicate of this mesh on a lower subdivision level and add it into a separate Z tool. You can see that here. So what I can do right now, I can just unwrap it here. For example, if I click unwrap, and I click on this flatten button here, you can see that it has generated some UVs, but right now the UVs are very weird, so we don't want our UVs to be done like that. So there are different ways we can do UVs of this face. For example, we can do the same thing. We can just do some poly painting and tell Zbrush to maintain our edges, maintain the UV seams on some places. So this method I usually don't recommend it because it's telling Zbrush to just try to keep the seams on the painting area. So for example, if I paint my seam here on this edge, because this is how we unwrap the face in Maya, and that's why I'm painting this blue color on these edges, because I want this the UV seams to be on these places. So if I click unwrap right now and flatten it out, you can see that the UVs are really nice and clean for the face, but we can see some kind of stretching going on here near the mouth area. So what we can do right now is go back to my subtool, make sure that the whole face is a single poly group, and let's select the mouth area because there was a lot of stretching going on here. So what we want to do is create some separate poly groups for the mouth. So let's select this area. And let's isolate this edge and click on this auto groups button so that the mouth area is a separate poly group than the face. And we should make sure that the rest of the face is a separate poly group as well, and we can just click on this poly group button and click on this unwrap as well. So if we flatten it out, you will see that it has made this teeth area a separate poly group as well. So this is how we use UV master to unwrap our UVs and make separate polygon UV islands on top of it. So right now we have looked at how we can unwrap a single subtool, and for the time being the UVs hasn't transferred onto the original face subtool. So what we can do right now is click on this copy UVs button and go back to our face, the highest subdivision levels face, and we can just paste our UVs on it. And you can see that if I go back to my lowest subdivision level on this face and click on this morph UV button, you can see that my UVs has been transferred on this subtool. So right now we have looked at how we can do UVs for a single subtool. So if we want to pack multiple subtools into a single UV set, so what we can do right now, let me just isolate multiple subtools. So for example, if I want my face, eyes, collar, gloves, pants and cape in a single subtool, in a single UV set, so what I can do right now is I can go to my transpose master and click on T-pose mesh, and let me turn on the double-sided shader, so we can see the cape from the back and the front side as well. So if I click on this unwrap button here and we have checked our poly groups, you will see that it will be unwrapping all these subtool in a single UV set. You can see that it's unwrapping into a single UV set, but right now there is the UVs are weird, and there are some places where the stretching is going on. So what we can do right now is select a single subtool, single poly groups, and isolate them up, and we can select the forward faces and the back faces and create poly groups on those. So if we click auto groups right now, it will separate the this front and the back faces. So auto groups, and we have 3 groups on the pens. So let's make 2 groups. Okay. So if we unwrap them again, you can see that it will be packing the front panels of the pen and the back panels of the pen separately. And right now the UVs are clean, so the only thing which is unclean is the face, and we can unwrap the face the same way as we have done previously. So right now these original meshes doesn't have the UVs. So if how we can do transfer the UVs is by by just clicking on our T-pose to sub-T, and it will show a pop-up saying that these new meshes have UVs, so should we transfer UVs back onto the original subtools? So we can click yes, and this will transfer the UVs onto our original meshes. So you can see that Zbrush is showing us a pop-up telling us that this mesh has UVs, and would you like to transfer UVs with the pose? So we can click on this yes button here, and all of our UVs will be transferred onto our visible subtool. So in the next video we will be looking at how we can bake textures. So it was important to cover UVs before going on to the textures. So hope you liked the video, and see you in the next video.